weather on Friday. It rained.
Right.
And then it got worse on Sunday. The problem they had on Sunday was they didn't have rain. They had hail, pea-size hail.
Oh my goodness.
And they got so much of it that they were showing a couple of the holes and they were completely covered with hail. And rather than just let it sit there and maybe melt, they were trying to sweep it and move it. Well, all you're doing now is piling it up and it's staying colder. So it's the chances of it evaporating or melting are even lower now because you've made big piles of this stuff here, there, and everywhere.
Oh God! And they're probably going to burn the grass wherever it's piled up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It would. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
This was a little bit of a preview into they're playing the U.S. Open here in June. Over Father's Day weekend, they will be playing the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. So kind of got a chance to see how they're. I mean, you don't set the course up, 2 weeks before the event. You've got to plan years ahead. Okay, here's how we're going to try to get our growing going, and where we want trees and how we want the rough, because you can't just decide 2 weeks before the tournament. Okay, we're going to stop mowing the rough and let the rough grow up. It's not going to be what you want. So they narrowed a lot of the fairways.
Okay.
Which made it interesting, which in a way made it easier for some of the pros. And the reason being, when it's soft like it was out there because of all the rain, the ball doesn't roll. Okay. Obviously, you're not going to get much roll. It's going to land, it's going to hit, it's going to land thud. Soft, thud, stop. I mean, it's kind of like the drives we get here in Florida because everything's overwatered or it's been rained on a couple of times. Well, like today. Yeah. Imagine playing tomorrow. Oof. You move up a set of tees because you're not going to get any roll.
All right.
So what happens when the pros playing something like this is they don't have to worry about the ball bouncing and running through the fairway into the rough. They pretty much know it's going to stop within a couple of yards of where it lands.
That's true.
So they're able to take some angles they wouldn't otherwise take because they know the ball's not going to roll through and maybe get stuck in the rough.
Yeah, all right, I can see that. Yeah.
But if it did get in the rough, it get a little nasty being you get that wet grass. Oof. And it's that longer, wet, thick rough.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if somebody took a sickle out of their bag?
Oh boy. Well, they had to finish this thing on Monday. Reason being that they had 2 weather delays on on Sunday. They had to wait in the morning because it was raining. Then it got really cold. Then they had the hailstorm, and then they just plain ran out of daylight. So Phil had a 3-shot lead with 2 holes left and had to stay overnight. I'm sure he didn't mind.
No,
I'm sure there's worse places.
Broke his heart. Yeah.
Worse places in the world to stay than at the lodge at Pebble Beach. Yeah. And and come out the next morning and
stuck at Pebble Beach for another night.
Yeah, play 2 more holes and walk away with like $1.2 million in
nice
cashola.
Nice. So, what a beautiful spot though. The
camera, it really is.
Yeah, the camera angles are great.
The really funny part, I thought about flipping over, trying to find something else to watch because once the hail started, it was like, well, then it just became comical.
Yeah,
I wonder how bad this is going to get.
Right.
And the announcers were trying to fill all this dead air, so they were trying to think of anything to talk about. And you have one of the announcers is basically explaining what hail is and how it comes to be and what has to happen in the atmosphere for you to get hail, and which was really interesting.
It is,
but it's like, how often do you hear a golf announcer
giving you the science breakdown on
talking
hail?
Talking about the scientific breakdown on
good golly.
Paul Casey started the 4th round with a 3-shot lead, but couldn't hold on. He just made a lot of pars, hit a couple of bad shots, and was able to save par. But Phil was not to be denied. Phil wound up shooting a 65 for the final round. Finished at 19 under par for the week.
Good for Phil.
Now, 19 under par there. This was played to a par 72. Now, when the USGA plays this golf course, a couple of par 5s are just going to be long par 4s.
Wow.
So it'll be a little more difficult. Basically, it would have been he would have been 12 under par had it been the U.S. Open, the USGA's version of par, which drives me nuts. But they don't like guys shooting under par in the U.S. Open. They just well, Phil got to the back nine, started with a flurry of birdies, and basically, he was one shot back when they got to the 10th tee, pulled even with a birdie at the 10th, and then Casey kind of self-destructed. Airmailed the 11th green with an approach shot. That was a bogey, dropped him back. Bogeyed the 12th hole, and Mickelson just started playing well all of a sudden. But so it goes. I mean, it happens. I mean, you don't, sometimes you just don't win. No. And even though you've got a big lead going into the final round, which was, like we said last week, when Justin Rose shot that 74 in the final round, he had enough cushion that it didn't hurt him. He wound up winning, but it was like, man, it could have easily. Usually that doesn't help.
Right.
I mean, you go out and you shoot even par. I mean, Paul Casey shot 1 under, which isn't horrible. But Phil went out and shot 7 under for his final round. And Scott Stallings shot 6 under to jump all the way up into 3rd place. So.
Okay. All right. We'll have much more of this.
Dodging rain and hail and
evil spirits and whatever else was going on out there.
I'm telling you, man. Somebody had the voodoo doll out on this tournament this week.
We'll be right back, so stick with us.
And welcome back to the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Hump Day edition on WSTU Radio, WSTUTV.com. If you want to join us, the number's 220-9788. Somebody looks a lot like Frank will answer the phone if you call.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to hear people out there that have maybe either played at Pebble Beach or would love to play in this Pro-Am. Be interesting to see. But one of the guys that played, we were talking about this. Ho-Sung Choi. He's the guy with the really weird swing, golf swing.
You know, he nearly falls over.
Hits the ball and kind of looks like Fred Astaire spinning around in the rain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about the only way to put it. I don't know. Well, apparently a lot of people were interested in this guy. He's 45 years old from South Korea. Has never been to the United States until him and his family arrived just a few days ahead of this event. So he'd never been on U.S. soil. You can find him all over the place on YouTube.
Really?
People just trying to figure out just what the heck.
What is his story, right?
He didn't play phenomenally well. In fact, he missed the cut, but he did gather a lot of attention and a lot of fans. One of them being Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
He was so intrigued that he expressed desire to play with Choi and actually wound up in the same group for 3 rainy days. So he got to see plenty of them. Rodgers said, quote, "He doesn't know a ton of English, but you could see the joy he has when he plays, and he's a good player," end quote. Choi ranks 194th in the world going into last week. Did not take up golf until he was in his 20s. He happened to be working at a golf course, decided to try the game. What the heck? And the reason obviously his swing is self-made, and said he developed his unique follow-through after hitting a shot from the deep rough about 5-6 years ago. Decided he'd try to use his body language to get a little more oomph out of the ball and get it because he had to hit it a long way, I guess, and decided, oh, let's try this. And
kind of a corkscrew effect. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, they say you want to get your body and your momentum moving forward.
Yeah.
You don't want to hang back. You want to get your body moving forward. You want to finish with your weight on your left side. He does that. Yeah. I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah. And then some.
And then some.
Yeah.
He actually won on the Japan Golf Tour last year. He won the Casio World Open.
Oh, all right.
And pretty much became a video sensation after that.
Well, I didn't even know Casio was still making products.
Yes, they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah. Through a translator, he said, quote, "I know sometimes after I've hit the ball, I sometimes will the ball to go in the hole with my mind.
Oh.
I feel like that helps the ball go in the hole, so I'm going to keep doing it."
That sounds like a reasonable
expectation.
Sure.
I feel like in my mind, the way I move my body, sometimes it feels I have remote control that wills the ball to go to the hole.
Nice.
I think it helps.
Why not?
It can't hurt. I mean, what the heck?
That's right.
I mean, you've played golf. I mean, how many guys you hit the ball and the ball's in the air and you're yelling at it to sit down or get up or go or move left or move right or or something. I mean, darn well the ball ain't gonna do except what it's gonna do.
Right.
But you're gonna yell at it anyway. So how's that any different than him twisting his body and trying 18 other different things?
If you camera pans to people after they hit their ball, you watch their body English. It's pretty funny the way they'll bend and twist.
Oh, yeah.
The way they're trying to will the ball to move in the direction that they wish. Absolutely.
Yep. He shot rounds of 72, 75, 77 to miss the cut. But hey, first time in the U.S. I think it's especially cool, and I think it shows a lot about golf and fans that here's a guy that he's quirky. He's got a weird golf swing, doesn't speak much, if any, English, but the fans wanted to watch him play, and we're happy to just to kind of see him having fun out there. And even though it's kind of an odd swing, but a few years ago, they started that whole thing with Arnold Palmer where Arnie said, swing your swing.
Right.
That was the whole gist of the whole idea was, I mean, and Arnie had a very odd golf swing, but
it worked for him.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt I could have gotten around Pebble Beach 3 rounds in the 70s, you know, in those conditions and that pressure and everything else. Not a chance. Not a chance. I've played Pebble Beach on my computer, and without mulligans, I probably couldn't break 90.
Wow, it's a tough course. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
And like I said, the U.S. Open is going to be back there in June. Some of the players were they kind of knew it wasn't really going to be any prep work for them coming to play this event, because, you know, the USGA is going to do a lot more to the golf course between now and then.
Right.
And because you had celebrities and amateurs playing, you couldn't exactly make the course too hard.
Yeah.
Because frankly, they were playing 5-hour rounds of golf anyway. Can you imagine if you made it difficult? And these guys that, you know, play to a double-digit handicap basically wouldn't have had any fun.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have played well. It wouldn't have been any fun to watch either. So, yeah, Phil Mickelson said, you know, other than being there to visualize the golf course, that's about all you could do with it. Or, you know, Jordan Spieth says the first thing that you notice is the fairways are taken in. The rough's lower than it has been in past years, but he said it's going to be a lot different once the USGA gets a hold of it and firms up the golf course. So, hey,
okay, little firming going on.
A little firming. Okay. Let's pay some bills.
All right, let's do it. We'll be right back. We've got much more to cover, so stick with us.
And welcome back to the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Hump Day edition on WSTU Radio and WSTUtv.com. James Stammer in studio. A nice rainy evening out there. it's like good snuggle weather, man. It's
I guess so.
It's getting a little chilly.
Put on your flannel jammies.
Get a cup of coffee and kind of just
cocoa.
Sit there on the couch and with your blanket on you. And, not a bad way to spend an evening.
Sure,
if you're with the right people.
Program. Yeah, absolutely.
And tomorrow's just so you guys know, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Because, we don't want anybody to end up in the doghouse.
No. God, no.
And then up in the doghouse on Valentine's Day is not good.
No.
Not good.
No.
Not good at all.
No.
An interesting event that they play on the Australian tour.
Really?
Yep. It's called the ISPS Handa Vic Open.
Okay.
What makes this event unique
they have kangaroos on the course.
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
But they play 2 tournaments at the same time.
2 separate tournaments at the same time.
They play an LPGA Tour event, and a men's European Tour event on the same golf course.
So it's like a mixed scramble?
Well, no, what they do is they alternate. You have a group of men in their tournament tee off, and then the next group is women. They play from a different set of tees,
right?
But every other group alternates. You have the men, then you have the women, then the men, the women, the men, and you have your own. Each has their own tournament, playing the same golf course under the same conditions, pins in the same spot, and everything else. Which is really, really, I think it's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it was really neat to watch some of this.
It's good utilization of time and space, isn't it?
They combined the tournaments back in 2012. A lot of people thought at the time it was just a pretty big attempt to rescue the Victorian Open, which has been a mainstay on the Australasian Tour since 1957. This is an event that Greg Norman actually won, as did Peter Thompson at one time. But apparently the recession hit it pretty hard. Well, what they did was they moved the tournament to the 36th hole, 13th Beach Golf Links. Why would you name something called 13th Beach Golf Links? It's on the Bellarine Peninsula. They rebranded it and decided that they would play a women's event right alongside the men's event. It went over pretty good the first year. And this year, for the first time, both events, they were co-sanctioned by the European Tour and the LPGA Tour. With the help of sponsor ISPS Handa, the purse for each field was $1.5 million. Now that's not a lot compared to what Phil Mickelson took home, but just for himself, at the AT&T. But when they first did this, the first year, it was 150,000 Australian for each event, for each tournament, the women's and the men's.
Wow! So
you went from 300,000 to $1.5 million.
That's a pretty big jump.
So that actually you went from 300,000 to 3 million because each field had $1.5 million.
Right.
So that's a huge jump.
Tenfold.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys on the PGA Tour played for 7.6 million at the AT&T, but not too shabby. I mean, it was like I said, it was a really neat event to watch because you were watching men and women play the same course
and how they attack
and
how
they would play and which was really, really neat.
And they're playing under the same conditions, so you really can get from a purely scientific perspective, it gives you an excellent balance of information.
Yeah. And on the ladies' side, France's Céline Boutier recorded her first LPGA Tour victory.
Whoa.
She fought wind gusts that hit 30 miles an hour in the third round, and they had 25-mile-an-hour gusts in the final round. For start, the players knew everybody. Obviously, a lot of people were watching you because you had the European Tour there. So you had all the European who might not normally watch. That was the other good thing. It was very good exposure for the LPGA because if you had a lot of people that normally just watch the European Men's Tour who couldn't really care less maybe about the LPGA Tour. Well, now if you wanted to watch them, you were going to have to watch both tours. So maybe you got a chance to see just how good these ladies really are,
right?
And watch them, play basically alongside the men on the same golf course. Right. The other thing that I thought was cool was that the prize money was the same.
Yes,
that's something you don't see very often. In fact,
tennis,
that's
probably the first time I've heard of that.
In fact, tennis tournaments, the women's side does not get nearly the prize money the men's side does.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I'm glad that in Australia, all things are equal.
Yep. So congratulations to her. That's pretty cool. So that means on the men's side, and actually a note, she became only the, Duke University has a very good women's golf team.
All right.
They're one of the premier college universities, female ladies golf team in the U.S. And this young lady went to school there. She's only the second alumni from Duke to win on the LPGA Tour. You would have thought they'd have had more than that by now. But so on the European Tour, rookie David Law produced a grandstand finish on Sunday. The 27-year-old Scot trailed Wade Ormsby by 3 shots when he got to the 16th tee. Usually that was the same lead Phil had. Phil was three ahead of the field when he got to the 16th tee, but he held on to his. Law goes out and birdies the 16th and then makes a 8-foot eagle putt on the par 5 18th hole to tie for the lead. Ormsby, 38-year-old Australian, double bogeyed the par 3 17th hole and wound. So now all of a sudden he's 2 shots back. Here you were just a hole before with a 3-shot lead, and when you walk up to the 18th tee, you're 2 shots back. Wow. That's a huge swing. Yeah. He couldn't make eagle at the 18th, wound up with a birdie, but it was a 1-shot victory for Mr. Law.
Yeah.
Finished at 18 under par for the tournament. He's a rookie, so this is big for him.
Yeah. Talk about cutting your teeth, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finished. He said he was hoping he'd finish. He wanted to make 3 birdies coming in. He made 1 birdie and an eagle, so he got the same numbers. He just didn't.
Different way.
He got him a different way.
Yeah. Wow. Good for him.
Yeah. So congratulations.
We'll probably hear more.
We just might.
This player, yes.
Just might. I mean, it'd be interesting to see, what kind of invites he gets now. I mean,
sure.
He's 27, so he's kind of young. I think that's young.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
I'm twice that age now. Oh my God, I'm twice that age.
I hate when that happens.
Oof.
Please.
Ouch.
I got wrinkles older than you. Stop it.
Wrinkles older than you. I like that.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Gee, thanks, Frank.
You're gonna be chuckling about that all night long.
I just might, really. We're 2 weeks out from the Honda Classic.
Okay.
Down at PGA National down in West Palm Beach. They have, as usual, they've got a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
I know that they always are very big on honoring veterans and their dependents and everything else. Veterans, I believe, still get in free.
Yep.
Their dependents, I think it's like $20 or $25 for a ticket to get in, so they get in a lot cheaper than.
And if you drive a Honda product,
you get better parking.
Yes.
Yeah, you get better parking. Now I'm in the media, so we used to park right by the golf course.
Right front, yeah, up front and personal, yeah.
Over by the driving range is where we used to park. Now we're all the way out, almost on PGA Boulevard, and they put us in one of those little vans like you see them, the airport shuttles from the hotel to the airport.
Right.
We get on one of those and we get driven in on that instead. But it's not horrible.
No,
I can't complain.
No, but at least you're not hoofing it.
Yeah. At least I'm not walking. Although couple years ago, we did the line was so long.
How long was it?
How long was it? It was long that we just decided, you know what? We're just going to walk. So we hadn't walked enough already. We were going to walk a little more. So we walked.
Wear your comfy shoes.
We walked some more.
Sure.
But if you're interested in it, HondaClassic.com, you can buy tickets for just about anything. I mean, they have a lot of hospitality suites.
So you can actually print your own tickets at home?
Yes. Yep. You can use them on your phone now.
Wow.
To get in. That's kind of cool. That's pretty neat. But yeah, it's one of the, it's one of what we play the Honda. We also play in Tampa. They call it Tampa, but it's not even in Tampa. It's on the other side of the bay.
Yeah. St. Petersburg, right?
It's actually almost in Newport Richie.
Oh my goodness.
It's at Innisbrook over there.
Yeah.
And then we have Arnold Palmer's Invitational.
Right.
His grandson Sam Saunders runs that. Basically, that's his baby now. He's the host of that, which is pretty cool.
It is.
Then we have
Does he drive the same golf cart as Arnold did?
Not that I know of. No, I don't know.
That would be fun. That would be fun to find out.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And and then we have the Players Championship up in Ponte Vedra, up by Jacksonville. So it's a big swings about to start. Coming through Florida, and with the Masters in April, everybody's going to be looking to sharpen their game and get ready. The really cool thing about the Honda is, you've got a lot of great golfers that live in our area. I mean, Tiger's here, Rory McIlroy's here,
right?
Ricky Fowler's here. Just a plethora of guys that play out of this area. They either live and play out at the Bears Club, or Tiger lives over on the beach. So you get a lot of big names playing here. So
yeah, they don't have to travel too far either,
and we don't have to go very far to see it either. That's the other nice part.
Yeah, what, 3.5 hours? You're there, right?
Yeah. Yep. The USGA has decided to clarify the caddy rule. Remember a couple weeks ago? Somebody got penalized 2 shots because his caddy stood behind him while he was. And now basically they have said, as long as the caddy's not behind him when he puts the club behind the ball, it's okay. Because some of them, the guy was standing there and kind of looking and taking practice swings, and his caddy was behind him, kind of going, okay, well, you're aimed a little, and then you move out of the way. The USGA initially was like, no, no, you can't do that. We want you to line yourself up and hit it. And then it kind of became, well, the way the rule was written was when you take your stance. Well, is my practice swing considered my stance? It's a practice swing. And if I walk away and start over again,
that's another one.
It's another stance.
Yeah. And
if my caddy's not behind me now, why am I penalized for the one before?
Right.
And so now they've basically said, all right, when you get in there and you address the ball, you better not have your caddy behind you.
All right.
So
that seems fair. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The things that people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We've seen some interesting shots. We've seen Phil play a shot off of a deck of a hospitality tent. They put the carpeting on there, and it's a nice little tight light. You can put some pretty good spin on the ball hitting off of that. Well, Tony Romo did the same thing at AT&T. He was over by one of the hospitality tents, on one of the decks, and basically hit the same kind of shot Phil did. Knocked it in there close and made birdie.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Rocco Mediate. A lot of people remember him from losing the playoff at the U.S. Open to Tiger Woods back. I don't know. It was a while ago. That was back when Tiger was basically playing on one leg. His knee was all messed up.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people were like, man, you couldn't even beat a guy with one leg.
Yeah.
But, Rocco has it has revealed that he had a past of alcohol abuse. Said he just quit drinking cold turkey in October of 2017. Realized that he had
drinking turkey, wild turkey.
Yeah, cold wild turkey.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, just quit.
Just gave it up, hung it up.
Just hung it up. Says nope, I can't do this anymore.
All right.
And
Well, good for him.
So yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to, recognize.
Yeah.
The most painful thing I would imagine not only is coming to that realization, but having to verbalize that publicly. That's probably more painful than than anything else.
Yep. Let's see here. Here's an interesting thing. Ontario, Canada.
I've heard of that place. Yes. Across the river.
They have one of their golf courses has declared itself cannabis friendly.
Ah. Oh God.
I guess I wonder if they've
right.
I wonder if they have a lot of pot bunkers on that golf course.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Okay. Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Played a little practice round, I guess, if you want to say, at the TPC, the players course up at TPC where we were just talking about.
Right.
To that island green. They got that 17th hole with that little itty bitty island green in the middle of the water there. He decided that he would try. He took a challenge to hit every club in his bag.
Oh, that'd be a challenge
to see if he could, how many of them he could hit on the green. He didn't. He did okay, but the majority of them went in the water. But so he's lucky it's not a one club tournament.
Oh my God!
Oh man,
what a goof, huh? Just to see.
Yeah.
All right.
Phil Mickelson is he won this past week. He's playing again this week. The tour's at Riviera Country Club outside Los Angeles. It's one of the more storied golf courses around. It's held some big events there. So we'll have to see if Phil can keep things going.
Yeah.
The Symetra Tour, who sponsors basically the Symetra Tour is the women's version of the Web.com tour. Their developmental tour. This is where the younger players go to earn their way onto the LPGA tour. They have released their 2019 schedule. It has 24 tournaments and a little over $4 million in prize money.
Nice.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. That'll help. And down in Boca Raton, they had the Oasis Championship on the Champions Tour, and Bernhard Langer, who basically has won pretty much everything they play in down there or around the world on the Champions Tour. He won his 39th PGA Tour Champions title. 39.
Wow.
Pushed him past Hale Irwin as the tour's all-time leading money winner. Get this, Bernhard Langer, I don't know how much he made on the regular tour, but he has made $27 million and change.
Good night.
On the Champions Tour.
Good golly.
That's a hell of a retirement plan.
Man.
You get to 50, I'll play on the Champions Tour. And you make $27 million.
Clean enough.
Just
clean enough.
Yeah.
Good night, Irene. Wow.
Now Irwin still holds the lead with 45 total titles on the Champions Tour. So I guess that's next on Langer's checklist of of numbers to get ahead of.
He's going to be marching on in that direction.
So he's got his 39th, so he's got 6 more to go to tie. The rate he's playing, he'll probably get there sometime in August.
I think so. Very likely. Well, good for him.
Yeah. And that's about it. Hey. Like we said, had the big event, AT&T. That's over with now. I'm sure some people were glad because it was some people that just, like Mike said, it makes your hair hurt watching some of those amateurs play. But
right, but
it's gotten better. It's gotten better. They like I said, they've stopped with the constant advertorials during the entire thing. So that's good.
That's good.
Yep.
And, and it creates some buzz and gets more people interested in watching golf, then I think that then they're successful.
Yeah.
Because that's really, I would imagine, one of the reasons why they do that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So there you are.
So that's it for us, folks. Try to stay dry. Try to stay warm. And if you can get out there this weekend and knock them around a little bit, do it, man.
I think so. It should be a wonderful weekend.
Yeah. Nice and cool, I hope.
Yes.
That's it for us, folks. Have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Take care.
Good night.